Afternoon. I'm Laura Zervis, and I'm a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist. And I'm so happy to be here today to provide a nutrition segment for the Lending Hearts program. As always, we have an ambitious schedule, so I'm going to get started and talk about what we're doing. And today's theme is trying to, as we are in December now, a few days into December, talking about how to stay on track with our nutrition and wellness goals for the month while we have so many different things going on, and you may be pulled in many different directions, all for good reasons. I hope to celebrate with friends and family on many occasions that we have this month. So it's nice to know that you could still stay on track with your nutrition and wellness goals as long as you pay attention to the days that could be very routine, and then we will just do our best on those days that we are out and about with our friends and family and our social obligations that we have. So we don't want to derail all of the good work that we've done all year. And because we know that it's not any one single day is going to make or break our wellness goals. One day of exercise isn't going to have a significant impact on our overall wellness. It's that everyday walk and some of those everyday patterns that we have. Just like one meal is not going to derail all of our work that we've put in all year long. And trying to stay healthy, whatever your goals may be. And that doesn't necessarily mean losing weight. It could be gaining weight. It could be watching a particular, maybe you're watching, you have elevated hemoglobin A1C, and you're trying to watch your total calories and your overall carbohydrates and saturated fats or those types of things, whatever it is particular to you, whether you're just trying to eat cleaner, whether you're trying to incorporate more omega-3 fatty acids into your diet, or more fiber into your diet, or more lean protein, whatever you're trying to do, we can still do those things and stay on track throughout the holidays, because it is about that 7-day pattern. And if you are going out several times a week on these social functions, that could be your new pattern. And January could come and you could just feel a little bit different, not necessarily gain weight, but maybe you don't have the energy that you had prior to the holiday season, or maybe you don't have, maybe your skin doesn't feel good, maybe you feel dry, maybe your hair doesn't feel the same, or any of those things could be affected by the foods that we choose to eat and how our pattern changes throughout that time. So let's get started. We have some really nice things. I tried to get some breakfasty kind of things, something different that I think that you're going to enjoy. We always talk about chia seeds and flax seeds, and most of my recipes that we've done here in class have typically included chia seeds. And we always say that the chia, hemp, and flax seeds are rich in those omega-3 fatty acids, as well as obviously fish, cod, salmon, tuna, mackerel, herring, etc. And also walnuts, kale. There are some other things, but as far as getting in a big dose and in a small amount, like a very concentrated source of it, the seeds are a very good choice. And we know that that's part of the Mediterranean diet. So I'm going to have a recipe with those and show you how you could use those as an egg substitute, and how you could use them in some of your recipes to boost the protein and to use them in place of some other things. So we have that. We also have a really nice chicken dish that I think you'll like. It also incorporates the principles of the Mediterranean diet. We're going to use artichokes, olive oil. I'm looking around here. So we just have, this is like a nice and quick, easy meal that can be made during the week. So we are, not relying on takeout or convenience foods. Nothing here. I don't think we're using anything convenience today other than maybe a can of artichoke hearts or chickpeas. But mostly everything today we're going to be preparing ourselves. One thing that we're going to have too is a zucchini salad. Instead of a pasta salad, it's going to be a zucchini noodle salad. And you're going to really love that one. Definitely Mediterranean influence there. We're going to use Kalamata olives, olive oil, feta, onion, garlic, shallots, all kinds of good things going on there. And then we also have a breakfast bake, but really it doesn't have to be just for breakfast. We're going to use a carb balanced tortilla with egg whites and some sauteed vegetables. And we're gonna just throw it in the oven just to show you how simple something, how fast and simple something could be in the morning. Sometimes I hear I don't have enough time to make breakfast, but I think you'll find some of these are very convenient. Plus, they could be made ahead of time and reheated. And then I wanted to also say that all of these recipes are very carb balanced, which means the carbohydrate and the protein in that are very similar. So you should be keeping fueled and full throughout the holiday season. So let's get started. I think we should start with our chicken so we can get that in the oven, because it's going to be a little bit of time on the stove and then a little bit of time in the oven. Our egg bake is also going to go into the oven. Our salad obviously is all cold. And our porridge or our oatmeal is going to be on the stove. So why don't we get started here? We're going to start with our chicken thighs. Let me just adjust the camera so you could see what I'm doing. And this one is reminiscent, if you're familiar with a chicken paprika, or some people call it, Eastern Europeans might call it chicken paprikash. This is kind of like that without the yogurt or sour cream. That would be a really nice way to finish this dish. But we are going to use a smoked paprika, so you're still going to get that flavor. But just know that we could up the protein if we finish it off with some Greek yogurt at the end too. So I think I'm going to include that on the website so you can see what that's going to look like as well. So again, let me adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. At first, we just have our chicken thighs, and I have 4 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And I like to use these, especially because they heat up very nicely, and you could use them. Let me just grab our fork here. They heat up very nicely for you, and they don't tend to get dried out like a chicken breast if you're doing meal prep for the whole week. So we're just going to sprinkle some of our smoked paprika on here. And we're also going to put a little bit of salt and pepper. And let me just get my kosher salt here. Sprinkle a little bit of that on. And pepper right here. And we're just going to toss that together. And we're going to, everything that we're going to make on this recipe will all get there. We're going to do it individually, so all the items in the recipe get the paprika on them. So we're just going to give that, and you could just, if you could smell that smoky flavor. I like regular paprika as well, but if you, this just adds another dimension of flavor. Oil on here. And we'll get a little oil in our pan. And we'll just heat that up a little bit. Add our chicken thighs. Let me give those a nice little stir. While that's heating up, I'm going to just set that right there. Going to do our artichokes next. And again, I just have 2 cans of artichokes, and I drain. And we're going to also mix with a little olive oil and paprika and salt. So just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of paprika. That way, everything in our recipe gets a little chance here. And what we're going to do is give those a stir. Boy, they look good already. Just having that little bit of color in them, I could see how that would make a nice cold side dish. Okay. All right, so let me adjust this here so I can talk to you. And we're just going to add them in. Now we are going to finish these off in the oven, so they just need a few minutes over on stovetop here in our Dutch oven. So we're just going to do about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So let me do that. Probably should have started it up a little bit sooner, just feels I'm not hearing that sizzle. So let me talk to you about the rest of the ingredients in here. We're going to be using a low sodium chicken stock. I'm also going to use some fingerling potatoes. They are really a star right now. And what I like about the fingerlings is they really add some dimension. Remember the principles of meal planning, right? We want something that's varied in texture, flavor, cooking method. So this is definitely going to add another flavor. It also adds, different size, different shape, color, texture, flavor, and cooking method are all the things that we want to have varied. And here's some sizzle back here. So let's add the rest of these. And before class, I did trim these. I trimmed all visible fat. I did buy them already skinless and boneless, which is more common today. It's actually harder to find the ones with the skin on and the bone in. So I did just cut off most of the visible fat as much as I could without, losing any meat. So we're just going to put these in here for about 2 to 3 minutes. Chicken thighs, remember, as far as the proteins go, chicken, beef, pork, seafood, red meat, whatever you're talking about, all of those are typically 7 grams of protein per ounce. Chicken thighs are no different. They just might have a little bit more fat than our breast. They do actually, but we're still looking around maybe 170, 190 calories per thigh. Typically, it depends on a small to medium sized thigh. Excellent source of protein. And these are browning real nicely. Like I said, we don't need too much time here. They're going to do a lot of their, let me get rid of this. They're going to do a lot of, we're going to finish and bring them up to temperature in the oven. And searing them like this is a great way. Even if you have a recipe where you leave the skin on, it's nice to sear them first. This braising technique, and then finish in the oven. It gives it other items in your dish a chance to cook. So let's just get these. And I'm just turning them real nicely, and I'll show you what that looks like. And the paprika has made it just a real nice color. And I'll show you what that looks like. Move our artichokes aside. And already it gets our olive oil, that beautiful little reddish color there. You just hear it sizzling, how nice that looks. So again, just 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes on each side, then we'll remove that. But now is the time when you want to get a little bit of on it. Okay, so we're gonna let that go another minute. We have our artichokes. And what we're also going to do is we're going to, since the potatoes are going to take a little bit longer time to cook, I did slice them in half. This one could actually use another cut. So they're going to cook at the same time. And give them one more. So we have, what we're going to do is after we braise these, we're going to, brown them, remove them, add the artichokes, brown those a little bit. Then we're going to do the same with the potatoes, and then get everything in the oven with our broth, and that'll come out really nice. It'll keep it nice and tasty. So what I'm going to do now is just remove our thighs, and I'm going to keep them nice and warm on a separate platter. They look really good. Those out. Okay. I'm just going to set these aside and cover them so they stay warm. Okay. So what we're going to do next is I'll show you, we're going to add our artichokes, and I've just tossed them with a little bit of oil, paprika, and salt. And then we're also going to put our potatoes in here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil, paprika, And that way we're ensuring that everything gets enough of all of our spices here, okay? So what we're gonna do next is we're going to add the artichoke and we're gonna saute for a little bit. I'm also gonna add a little bit of water to this after I get them in there. And again, we're just gonna do these a couple of minutes just to get the flavor from the chicken. We could even brown them a little bit. This on the side. But now they're coated with a little bit of that olive oil. So we're gonna add a little bit of water. We're gonna dust them with flour. Just add a little bit of water. And we're gonna dust them with our flour. Let me get flour over here. And we're just gonna cook another minute after that. Okay. Okay, so those are looking nice. And then I'll show you how that looked like, what it looks like rather. Okay. Oh. So artichokes in there, and you see how we have that nice little sauce go, right? We just have a little bit of the, oh, does that look good? Seasoned with some, so it's getting a nice and thick a little bit there. And we're also gonna take this off now, and we're gonna add that to our chicken, and we're just gonna keep that covered while we cook our potatoes. So let me get that chicken. Let me put this back here. So you could see, just put this here. And once we get this out, pot holder, we take this out. Put that on the side. And you could just smell that smokiness. I'm gonna add a little bit more olive oil to our skillet. We already added a little bit to our potatoes. And we're just gonna stir those around, get all that smoky paprika in there. And we'll just give those a stir up a little bit. And let's just cover this to keep the heat in while we stir this. And then we're going to put everything all together and stick it in the oven. So it should be done before class is over. And you want to, like I said, make the potatoes a uniform size so they all cook at the same time. Really important too. We have to think about how long this is going to take to cook. So we don't want to leave them whole. That's why we chopped some of them up and quartered them. Some of them were already real tiny. That's the beauty of the fingerling potatoes, all those different shapes and sizes and colors. That's what makes them interesting and adds a lot of interest to our plate. Give those a stir. And we're just gonna let those cook another minute. And then we're gonna add everything all together and get that into the oven. Let's see what else we want to do. Just a 350 oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. Let me just get our stock ready and I will move our mise en place. And that's what everything is over here. All of our little dishes that I have on our pan. That is French for everything in its place and a place for everything. And that's really important part of your prep. You want to make sure that you read through the entire recipe, put all your ingredients together so you have them ready. That way there's no surprises and you have everything and you don't get through your whole recipe and realize you don't have an ingredient. Or if you don't read through their whole recipe, then you find out, oh, something has to sit in the refrigerator for a half hour, or something has to cook for a period of time, or there's a whole nother step involved. And those kind of things could, throw a little bit of a wrench into our plans. So let's take this off the oven, off the stove rather, and then we'll add everything together, add our stock, get it into the oven. And I'm gonna leave it uncovered in the oven too, so it could get a little bit, that's why we're gonna add enough liquid to it, because most of that liquid is gonna cook down. We don't want to put the lid on. That's like just the second part of this. I just don't think we need to have it covered there. Okay. So you can look here. That's the camera, so you could see, oh, you could hear that sizzle too. So we just have our fingerlings in there, and they got nice and brown. And I'm just going to scrape the bottom to get all these little bits off. And I'm going to add some of the stock while I do that, just to get all of that goodness off of there. Let's see what happens now. It all comes off. So you get all of those things. We don't want to let those brown bits stay in the pan. We want to have them as part of the final dish. See how nice that's coming together. Again, we see we had a little bit of the fat from the olive oil and the chicken. There's still some fat in there, even though we moved the skin off. And then that with the flour give us that beautiful, look at that shine, that beautiful, nice sauce we have in there. So let's add everything together. Okay. Out of here, we have some beautiful. Okay. This looks good. I should have put some red pepper in here or something to give it a little bit more color. The fingerlings are nice. Sometimes you get more purple ones in there than red, but it still looks very nice. We'll just put some fresh parsley when this comes out, just to get that again, we have some of our chicken broth here. That should be good right there. All right, I'm going to get this in the oven. And that should be done right before class is over. So we just have that all there. Okay. Perfect. All right, the next thing we'll do is our egg bake, because that's also going into the oven, and this is super easy. Little improv here. What you want to do is get a little pan that has an edge on it, and my other one is in use that's a little bit smaller than this. So I just pieced my carb balanced tortilla in there, did lightly grease the pan, and what I'm going to do is let me adjust the camera and move our things aside here. This is so nice because you could have this is a quick and easy breakfast. And I love doing this. You would just add, I'm using egg whites today. And that's just because that's what I like using. I think it just keeps the saturated fat down, and it gives you a really good source of protein. So let me just move that. And get over here. I just want to put more, since we're using a smaller pan. A larger pan, it's just going to take a little bit more egg whites. And I think that the egg white, buying them in a carton, I think is really could be cost effective. It's a great to, so you're not wasting the yolk unless you have another something for the yolk. And we're just going to put our mushrooms and onions and some feta cheese. And I'm going to save some for when it comes out. And also some tomatoes, again, for when it comes out. And we're just going to get that into the oven. And that could also go in our 350 oven. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is our porridge. Get that started, and I'll show you. Very easy. So we show you our prep for this. Just move our salt and our other items over that we're not going to need. And we're going to use about a cup of almond milk. And I love almond milk because, and that's in a lot of our recipes that I like to use, is because we always talk about the nutrition label. And let me tell you one more time about that because it's so important in case this is the first time you're joining me. Cow's milk, excellent source of calcium. If that is not available to you because of an allergy or an intolerance, it's good to know that you could use something like some of the plant-based milks. This one in particular has 470 milligrams of calcium. You always want to check the label. And remember, when we look at that percent daily value, we know if it's 5% or less that it's low in something or not a great source, or maybe you're looking to have something that's like low sodium, you would want to make sure that's less than 5%. It's a good rule of thumb. You could still check out the milligrams. And then the other thing that we know, if it's more than 25, it's a good source of. So we could see that our calcium, it provides 35% of our calcium for the day. So that is a really great source of calcium. So just wanted to point that out. And since it is made of from almonds, we know that it would be high if you've watched our other classes in vitamin E. So I could see that the vitamin, it provides 25% of our vitamin E for the day too. And it's telling me 4 milligrams as well. And again, there's also A is 15%, but you'll always see those ones. We're always going to see iron and vitamin D and calcium and potassium on the label. And if our label, if a nutrient is more than 25% and it's an excellent source, they're going to go ahead and voluntarily add that to the label so you could see. So again, not all almond milks are made equal. So you always want to check the label. Different, like I was saying, 450, this one's 470. There's some that are only 50. Not all of them are the same, but most of the major brands, this is a major brand. There's several other ones. There's several store brands that have that the adequate calcium in it. So it's just something that you want to check. Great way for us to get like 45%. That's if you have a cup in the morning, that's what it would give you that much, and you have a great start to the day. So let me start by mashing our banana, and I have a little bowl here for my banana. Okay. So this is really nice. We're going to do, here we go. We're going to do about 2 ounces of our banana, and let me just get out my scale so I could show you what that's going to look like. Remember, a banana is, sometimes I have, people are afraid to have bananas. They think they're too high in sugar. And it's not that bananas are not a great part of our diet, but this one in particular, let's just weigh it. Let's see how much this one weighs. So typically around 2 to 3 ounces is our serving. And I'm just going to put the whole one in here. And that's about 5.5 ounces. So you're looking at a good, 2 servings. This is probably around this piece here, which is about 2.5 ounces. It's probably our typical serving of a banana or a fruit, I should say. And this is about 15 grams of carb, 60 calories, and no protein and no fat. Again, if you were to eat this whole thing, remember that would probably be over 30 grams of carb, over 22 or 23 grams of sugar. So not that it can't be part of a healthy diet, but in the right portion size, it's even better. So let me get mashing this. We're going to mash up our banana. We're going to make a little oatmeal or porridge, if you will, using the banana and flaxseed. And we're going to bump up the protein by using the egg whites. So we have 2 things that we're using our egg whites in. So I'm just going to go ahead and smash the banana, and let me put this down so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to let me just get it started before I actually. So just like that. And this is just 1 serving. So. All right. This one, though, today, what we're going to do in our recipe is we are going to add to it. Great way. So I hear so many times, you know, the recommendation is to get 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in per day. And a lot of people have a problem with that. So what a great way. Zucchini has very little taste. The banana is going to overpower this. And look, we're getting a great, probably 2 servings of vegetables right here. So I'm just going to dump in our zucchini. I just grated it right before class with the food processors. So I'm just going to stir that all together. You don't have to use zucchini if you don't care for it. A piece that's a little bit bigger. And we're just going to put a pinch of salt in here and set it aside, and we're going to get going with the rest of our recipe. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside and get my other ingredients and talk to you a little bit about flaxseed. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the stove. Okay, and flax, and you could use any type of fruit on top. I'm going to use some blueberries because the blueberries look so good yesterday. And remember, they're a powerful antioxidant, very high in the cyanothins, the ones that have the blue pigment. So good. All right, so flaxseed. This is what flaxseed, and this one is ground. There's flax, like the seeds, and then this one is ground. You could also buy the seeds and grind it yourself. I did buy ground flaxseed, and let me tell you a little bit about this. And it's 2 tablespoons, it's 100 calories, 7 fat, half gram of fat, 5 carb, 4 fiber. So for those of us, remember the goal for fiber is 25 to 35 grams per day. Women are on the lower end, men are on the upper end of 35. And as we get older, that amount decreases because our calorie intake typically decreases. So you might see if you're over 55 or 60, that number has come down a little bit. And the reason why is we just tend to eat less. So typically around 15 grams for every 1,000 calories that you're probably intaking. So anyhow, 5 grams of carb, 4 fiber, which gives us a net carb of 1, okay, and 4 grams of protein. And it is telling us, you know, not a significant source of calcium, iron, potassium, but we do have the omega-3s. The other thing that's good to know, and let me just check on my chicken real quick. I can smell it over here. So make sure things are coming along. Looks good. The other thing that's good to know is if you are not having eggs, you know, we're using egg whites today because we just want all the protein. We don't want any sat fat. We're trying to bump up. Typically, oatmeals are high in carbohydrate, right? So we're trying to make a breakfast cereal that's a little bit more balanced in carb and protein. That's why we're using the egg whites. We're not using whole eggs because we don't want any of that extra fat. So not that you can't have eggs. I do think that we should have whole eggs in our diet. Just want to be clear. But in the case that you can't have eggs or somebody in your family has an allergy or intolerance to them, you could also make an egg out of flaxseed. And it's just if you look here, it says 1 egg is equal to what you would do is a tablespoon of flaxseed and 3 tablespoons of water. And that would give you like 1 flax egg. And what you do is you're just going to mix that up and let it gel for a few minutes, and then it'll be ready for you to use. And I've used this in many recipes that I have, and I think you'll find it really good. So just to remember about that. So let's get started on our recipe, and I will show you what we're going to do. We're just going to, we already mashed our banana. We're going to put our almond milk and our egg whites. Again, that was 4 ounces of egg whites, 6 ounces of almond milk. Okay, and we're just going to just bring this to a simmer, and then we're going to whisk in our flaxseed, and then we're going to add the banana and zucchini mixture. Okay, so let me just adjust this so we can talk while I'm doing that. Okay. So we're going to give that a little bit of a stir. Then we're going to add our flax. And the other thing is this could be put on top of yogurt cereals. Not much of a smell. Not much of a taste. Just like like a flake. like a bran flake or something else. So it's not going to, just a really great addition to your diet. Like I said, if you're struggling to get that fiber in your diet, you're struggling to get the omega-3 fatty acids, it's an excellent way to do that. Excuse me, got that flaxseed in there. Okay, so let me give this a stir. And again, this would be a great meal prep item. We're just making one serving today. And there's so many variations on this too. We have the banana and the zucchini. You could also top this instead, if you didn't want to do blueberries, we could top it with maybe some chopped almonds or cinnamon, vanilla. We could add vanilla to this right now just to bump up the flavor. I happen to be, our almond milk happened to be vanilla, so I just thought we could skip that. But anything that you would put on oatmeal, but I would just be careful. Remember, certain things like the dried cranberries or dried raisins come at a cost. Yes, it was a fruit at one time, but since it's so concentrated, they're going to be very high in sugar and carbohydrate. And we're trying to get these carb balanced meals into our pattern over the holidays, just so we stay nice and balanced. So let's just continue to give this a stir. And I'm going to check on my chicken and eggs while I do that. That looks fantastic. Everything's coming along real nicely. And this almond milk and egg mixture should thicken up for us real nice. It'll take about 5 minutes. That go. And we're going to talk about the next item that we have here. Okay, so we have our flax, our blueberries, and our zucchini mixture waiting for the oatmeal. Have our flaxseed, and this is pretty inexpensive too. And you could also find it at many stores. And typically it's found in some stores, it's found next to things like rice and dried beans, peas, those kind of things. And in some stores, it's in the health food section where you might find some supplements. So just something to watch out for. But most stores carry it. Our next item that we're going to prepare while we wait for our oatmeal to or our porridge to get thick is a zucchini noodle salad. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, so let that go for a little bit longer. Is a zucchini noodle salad I took before class. I tried to spiralize some fresh zucchini. And the thing about this, if we were using these as noodles as like with a pasta sauce, what I would do is probably lightly saute these in just a small amount of olive oil and salt and pepper. You don't want to boil them like a traditional noodle because it will just soak up. Zucchini is already going to have a lot of water. We don't need to add any more. So this is just a hand spiralizer. There are kinds that you could use that are electric that'll do this zoodle process for you, if you will. But really what you do is you put your blade, this comes with, mine happens to come with many different sizes, depends what you're going for here. But since we want a noodle, I use the one that, let me just take it off so you can see. Has a little hole in the middle and then you can see the blades right there. Just put this back on, it snaps into place. And then we're gonna just take our zucchini, you might wanna cut it and then you just turn it. You could see that coming out right there. Nice to make your own. You can buy them. Again, when you buy them frozen, let me give my almond milk a stir here. When you buy them frozen, oh, it's getting nice and thick. All right, we're gonna have to switch gears here and pay attention to this because it's really demanding our attention. I set our zucchini noodles aside and we're going to whisk in our flax. Just gonna put it on a little bit more. So it gets nice and thick. Let it go. Right. So what were we saying about zucchini noodles? Yes. So the frozen ones, they're fantastic and they're really good in a pinch. But if you it like at like a traditional spaghetti type of dish where you're having maybe a red sauce or something on it, it's really hard to get all of that moisture out. You're going to want to cook it, then put it in a colander, and then it gets cold. So I'm just going to separate that off there. And I have another piece to show you how it's coming out there. And you know what? I'm going to show you what it looks like with a with another blade on there so you could just see how this works. This might just be a little smaller. It's just a skinnier noodle, almost like an angel hair. Our other one was more like a, which is also nice. See how thin that's coming out? That's really nice. And if you remember from last year, or maybe 2 years ago, probably, we did a beautiful zucchini dish where we took a vegetable peeler and we peeled the zucchini and we sauteed it and we did it with some red onions for the holiday, which made it really nice. And I'm going to show you one more blade. But you could also saute these and make a wonderful side dish. A little bit of garlic, pepper. I'm just going to go like that here. See if we could, might not have enough here to see what shape this is going to give us. Oh, and this gives us just like a little wider noodle. So again, these are really inexpensive, but tools to have. And you could do this with other vegetables as well. Wouldn't it be nice to, let me see if I could do this other little piece of zucchini here. Wouldn't it be nice to do this with a, with yellow squash and green squash together? How cute that is. So while it's not uniform in our salad, I just want to show you like the different shapes that you could create with this. Just nice to, it's just a nice tool to have around, really inexpensive, all dishwasher safe. Let's set that aside and our glass. Oh, nice and thick, just like, so what we're going here for is like an oatmeal consistency. And you can see we have it. See, it's like nice and thick. And we are going to, let me just add our, we're going to stir this in. Zucchini. And we're just going to go ahead and cook it a little bit longer, just to get that zucchini cooked a little bit more. Well, we didn't cook it at all, so. But this smells delicious. It almost smells like an oatmeal too. It definitely looks like it. Have some cinnamon in this. The other thing that you could probably do too, it would be to bake that and then to cut it into some squares. Is we ingredients here, and then we're going to add some, I have some julienne red onions just for some nice color. And you know what, we have all these holidays around and we're talking about staying on our pattern. And if you're invited a lot of places, you may, try to be that guest that brings, the healthy dish, the vegetable dish. If you think there's going to be a lot of cheeses or charcuterie where you're going to have those high fat meats, it's kind of nice to be the one person that brings some of the, some of the vegetables and the healthy grains or starches. I mean, like we have with our beans here. So this one we have artichokes. We have garbanzo beans. This is also going to be very high in fiber. I'm going to put some cherry tomatoes in. So we've got a nice, really, we're going to have a beautiful, colorful dish here when we're done. And I'm going to save, I'm going to do half of my feta now, and we'll do half when we're garnishing at the end. And then we want to make our dressing. So we have our beautiful salad here. And we're going to set that aside. Oh my goodness, our banana porridge looks so delicious. So we're going to, traditional vinaigrette. which is olive oil. We're going to take our olive oil, about a quarter cup, and a few tablespoons of vinegar. I'll whisk this all together. This could also be done in a food processor if you're going for an emulsion. And remember, when you're making a vinaigrette, typical ingredients: olive oil, vinegar, crushed black pepper, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and I didn't measure it out because it's so small. Better off just giving it a little stir in there. And we'll whisk this all together. And that vinegar, the mustard helps keep the emulsion too. And we're also going to add, and some shallots and some lemon. Look at that beautiful vinaigrette we just made. That looks amazing. And let's add some fresh garlic. So I know we've got the shallot, but let's add some fresh garlic. That's the only problem about our class, is you don't get to smell all of these wonderful creations. All right, and we could go ahead and all right, and then we'll get our salad over here. Dressing, look how nice that looks. So we just want to make sure that we have our everything, and we're just going to drizzle that over. Like the drizzle around the edges. And this, one thing that's nice about this dish is it can be refrigerated. It's just going to get better as that zucchini marinates. We'll just give it a little toss. Let everything come together. And what a nice low carb pasta salad we have here. Chock full of vegetables. Just another great way. Sometimes we feel limited by our vegetable choices. And there's so many out there and so many different ways to have them, whether we're cooking them or having them raw, or whatever we're deciding to do with them, grill them. So I said we would put our cheese and a little bit of Kalamata olives there, just sliced in half. So there you go. There's our pasta salad, which looks beautiful and festive for the holiday. Really beautiful and festive. I love this a lot. Okay. Get out our chicken dish and let's look at our porridge too. Oh, wow, I know how thick this is. So let's get a fresh bowl. I just want you to see how much this resembles an oatmeal dish. How thick? Okay. So, oh, wow, does that smell good? This smells really good. So nice and thick. Again, top with a couple of blueberries, any berry of your choice, strawberries, almonds. There you go. That looks. And again, you could add a little sprinkle of cinnamon onto here. That would be nice. Let's get our chicken and our egg bake out too. So let's look at those. See if those are done or not. Our egg bake should be done for sure. And it is. Okay. So there's our egg bake. And again, that would be really, it's nice to have that tortilla come up the sides a little bit, but you could see how nicely our egg got done. So you could reheat this. We could it looks like our egg is really set there. And what we'll do is we just take a peek at that. Yes, oh, our chicken looks amazing. We're gonna check the temperature on that chicken, but first I just want to chop a little bit of parsley here. Because I would like to put some not only on our chicken dish, but I'd like to put them on our salad as well. So let me just get some parsley here, and I washed it right before us, but I didn't chop it for us. But this is gonna be really nice on those. So remember, you just want to give this a nice wash. I like, even if I get it, no matter where I get it from, I like to wash it 3 times, rinse it, dry it. If I'm in a hurry, I will use cheesecloth. If not, I let it air dry. Again, we don't want it to dilute anything that we're doing. So we'll just get a little here. I think our chicken dish needed a little bit of color. So we could always take care of that with the garnish, but we could have added some red peppers to that as well. Okay, push that to the side, and we could bring our salad over. Put a little one there. Oh, I know what I want to put it on our egg bake too. Okay. Put it on our. And we could also put our egg. Also have some fresh feta. And some, we cook some tomatoes. We could do some fresh tomatoes. Again, a little bit of parsley. Something nice to make. Remember last year, Christmas, we made the straw. Oh my goodness, I love that. That was probably one of my favorite recipes. It's just so, I don't know, so decadent. Let's get out, put a little bit of cinnamon on this while we're at it. And then we'll take it. So let's just put a little sprinkle our our cinnamon on. How nice that looks. Beautiful. All right, now we are ready for our chicken dish. So let's get that out. Oh, does this look amazing? And it smells amazing. Okay, so let's check the temperature on that. See if we're good. And remember, our chicken should be 160. Want to go into any piece here. And there we go, 163. 166. Get another piece. 170. We're good. This piece here. 168. So we're good. We could do this as it is. Let's plate this one up. Get everything closed here. And we'll just so you can see what it looks like. And this would be nice, over maybe some cauliflower rice. Look at that. That looks so beautiful. We get a little bit of color. Oh my goodness, you should smell how smoky this smells. And you don't have to, if you're not a fan of the smoke flavor, you could use regular paprika as well. And parsley on here. And there you go. There is our chicken dish, but it looks beautiful in the pan too. It'd be nice for your table. And remember, we also said you could finish this now if you wanted to get more of that chicken paprikash kind of effect going. You could finish it off with some Greek yogurt or sour cream. I would do Greek yogurt just because you'd be really bumping up that protein level. It's not going to, it'll just give you that nice tartness that even sour cream will give you when you make that dish. So again, let's bring everything over here so we can look at it and talk about it. Move our Move our things. We have this probably just so colorful. I just love this one. Just love that. There's so much going on there. So much going on. That dressing is just going to be amazing. Then we have our oatmeal porridge. So, and this, this did take a few minutes to make. So if you're running behind in the morning, but also good to know too, if you are having, let me go get our other dishes. Also good to know, sometimes, people want to have the oatmeal for breakfast, which is fantastic. I think it's a great addition to breakfast. I think it goes a long way to keep us full. But I think adding some protein to that really balances out that meal. I just love the way the feta got on here, so nice and creamy. But what a beautiful colors we have going on. But what I wanted to say about the egg whites, if you could also, if you're not ready to experiment with blacks, you could still take your oatmeal and whatever liquid that you're using. Say, for example, you're either using water or almond milk or even regular cow's milk, and you want to bump up the protein, instead of adding, like sometimes you might like to add a protein powder, but might be a better choice to add egg whites. They're already liquid. They're just going to give it that little bit more of a creaminess. You saw how creamy and how foamy that was getting. That was all the egg whites in there. So a great way to add protein to our oatmeal breakfast. It's really a game changer. So I am so excited. I wish you were here to try all these things here with me today. And if you have any questions about how to prepare them, I will put all the directions and the pictures on the website, laurazervos.com. Please leave me any questions that you may have. If you need to make any substitutions because of any dietary restrictions, or you're trying to pair this up with something that you're already having, like some of these, maybe you want to add something else. Maybe you're looking to add more fat. Maybe you need to have a higher calorie diet. We could talk about ways to boost the calories on these, or boost the protein if that is a concern. Or maybe there's something that I've used today that doesn't fit in with what your current pattern is. We could always make those adjustments. I could show you how to tweak the recipe. But again, don't let all of the socializing and fun times that we have together with our friends and family and all the social commitments that we may have over this next month, don't let them derail your wellness plans. Sometimes I get the question in private practice, is it even worth undertaking a wellness plan at this time of the year? Should I even start, or should I just wait till January? Well, I think that you have we're already on the 4th, but still 26 days to make a difference in your pattern, right? And come January 1st, it will just be another day. It won't be just be business as usual for you. You already have some good practices put in place to improve your wellness, whatever your particular goals are. So just something that's important to remember. It's never, we don't need to wait for a specific date to make these changes. We can make them. There's an opportunity for us at every next meal to do the next right thing. So I'm hoping that you may try some of these things and add them to your pattern, because it is about that 7-day pattern that that shows how we present, right? So those choices that you make every day at every meal really make a difference in your, not only your physical health, your mental health, your outlook. So I hope you give these a try and you'll stay on the path to wellness. Thank you so much and have a great holiday season.